Okay, we are live. How about that, huh? Right. Let me just quickly give a share to everybody else that I am live. And I will make sure to get into the presentation, guys. Okay. Oh, what exciting day, huh? I've been waiting for this for so long. It has been a crazy time to get this entire thing created and ready for you guys. Not only the ebook, the website, everything. It's taken ages. Fantastic. We are now being sent out. I can already see 2 sales have come in, 65 people currently on the website, and the email has just sent. LinkedIn just sent, Twitter just sent, people coming in. We've sold 4 ebooks now. We've sold 4 ebooks. That's pretty incredible considering we've only been live for like a minute. Okay, awesome. Let me jump into things. Let's get started. So, first of all, thank you for being live with me, and I appreciate that you are a part of this journey with me. And I want to pull up the chat just in case we start having some people joining as well. And I'll make sure that that chat is live. Awesome. So I'm not actually sure how this is going to go. This is my first YouTube live stream in about 5 years or something like that, right? I'm going to start doing more of them because I think that they're really beneficial for new topics and getting people interested and being able to answer questions live, right? There's nothing like being able to give information and answer questions live on a call for everybody to be able to listen to and understand and be able to get feedback on whatever it is that they need help with. So, what is this launch video about today? Okay, well, I've been working for the past 9 months, so basically since January now, almost 10 months that we've been working on this, right? Not just the ebook, but everything. Good morning to you, Jasper, as well. I appreciate you being in the chat. So I've been working on this ebook for 9 months now, and aside from that, I've been working on a website for 9 months. So my entire business, I have consulting, I have links, I have ebooks, I have courses, I have affiliate websites, I have all sorts of stuff, right? And whilst my team does the entire kind of work landscape for us, right now, we don't actually have a coordination level that I wanted to have in a modern kind of environment with my team, right? A lot of my team are working on 10 different projects all at the same time. They're all talking to different members of the team and interacting with each other, and it's not really a holistic team, right? So I wanted to, A, make sure that my team had something that the entire team can work on. B, I wanted to make sure that all of my services could be under one roof. And C, I wanted to release this ebook that I have been wanting to work on and release for years at this point, right? The only reason it's taken so long to put together is because I had to recruit all of the people that you see in the ebook there. And trust me, it's pretty hard once you have business owners that are earning millions of dollars a year to be able to get them to contribute a quite hefty amount of work to a project that you have that's ongoing. As well as the fact that not just that we needed them to contribute, but I needed to edit it, make sure that they approved of it, make sure that there wasn't any additional stuff, right? And there's 8 different guys. So this has taken a long, long time, but I am so happy that we are finally here. And we are up to 10 sales already. So we've already hit the 10 sale mark on the ebook. I'm over the moon. Okay. Let's jump into it. So I'm coming to you currently live from the sunny island of Koh Samui in Thailand. It's an awesome day. It's not that sunny today, but it is still pretty sunny outside. And I think I chose a fantastic time of year because there's not too much stuff going on. There's not too many other SEO events. There's not other launches, there's not lots of stuff going on. So there's some availability for everybody. And we've got people from all over Europe. We've got some guys from the States, from Canada, from Asia, from Africa. We've got people from everywhere right now. 118 people right now on the site. We've already sold 17 copies. Fantastic. So I'm currently coming to you live from sunny Thailand. And I would love for all of you to follow me through what I'm going to say for the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, so I have been focused on SEO for 15 years at this point, right? I've been doing SEO for 15 years in search engine optimization. That is a massive portion of my life, considering that I'm only 27 years old, right? And that journey has allowed me to progress at such a rate that I have been able to be involved in basically every aspect of the business side of things when it comes to SEO. Not only have I ranked sites and ranked pages and ranked all sorts of stuff, all sorts of keywords, but I've been actually involved in most of the business side of things in SEO as well. So I've run agencies, services, consultations, websites, SaaS businesses, all sorts of stuff, right? Just every single thing you can imagine. The only thing I haven't really done is local SEO businesses, right? And I'd like to say hello to Darren, hello to Linkify, hello to Thomas, hello to Ed. How is everybody doing? Awesome to see everybody on here. And we're already up to 15 sales, so let's go. Right. So number one, I started out doing SEO, and a lot of you are probably going to already know this, but I started out doing SEO for my family business, right? My mom, and I knew about SEO already a little bit from like YouTube videos and wanting to be a YouTuber, as every kid in this generation does. But I started out doing it specifically for my family business. The reason was that my mom had just bought a website off of an agency in the UK that charged her between £30,000 and £40,000. And at the time, we only had 3 employees, right? We've gone to 390 now, but we only had 3 employees at the time. And that was a huge amount of money, and she didn't really have much capital left over. She didn't have any experience in SEO or PPC or any of that to actually generate the sales now they had a website. So she came to me, considering I was already on the computer, playing games, involved in hacking, all sorts of stuff on the computer when I was that age, and she said, hey, look, you know a lot more about computers than I do. Why don't you take a look at this whole SEO thing and see what you can do? And a few months after that, we were ranking and beating some billion-dollar corporations in the UK, right? Some absolutely huge corporations for furniture and home products in the UK. So we were absolutely killing it. And that's basically what got me involved. Bear in mind, back then, I was literally just buying links off forums and like Fiverr and things like that, and it was working, right? Those days were so easy in comparison to what we have now that it's just a completely different ballgame. I wouldn't have to make this ebook. I wouldn't have to make this video. I wouldn't have to be doing a lot of this stuff if SEO was as easy as it was back then as it is now. But luckily for us, it's not, right? It makes the game a whole lot more interesting when you're not just buying links off random Russians and Ukrainians on forums, right? Okay, so then once I'd started getting my family business off and I started learning SEO and I'd met my mentor, Todd Foster, I started building gaming servers and made for AdSense sites with him. So I actually got involved predominantly because I was already running gaming YouTube channels, and I was already running private gaming servers for things like Minecraft and RuneScape, right? But Todd had the really clever idea of building a custom private server on RuneScape's old software. So basically in around 2006, I think it was, RuneScape changed the entire landscape of the game and made it a browser-based game and updated all the graphics, etc., etc. And you weren't previously allowed to play the old version of the game. So we stole all of the code from that old game, put it onto our own private server, ranked it number 2 for RuneScape, and ended up absolutely crushing it, generating 100,000 new signups a month. And then eventually, the actual owners of the game sued us, and I had lawyers at my door when I was 15. So I moved very quickly to Made for AdSense sites. And I want to say hello to Stuart as well. Welcome to the chat. And then we moved on to Made for AdSense sites, right? So Made for AdSense sites essentially were niche websites back in the day that were predominantly made to rank for AdSense keywords, which had a high CPC and had decent traffic, right? So if you imagine that currently there's niches like insurance and finance and things that you can get $15, $20, $25 CPCs on. And originally, you used to actually get a better AdSense share payout than you do today. So we used to create these sites that were just targeted to rank for these huge CPC keywords with the aim that maybe we get a couple clicks a day, and that would be between $20 and $50 per day per website in earnings, right? And bear in mind, we were 15, 16 at the time, so these were awesome. Made for AdSense sites were where I got a taste for niche websites, I got a taste for site building, I got a taste for WordPress, I got a taste for ranking for individual keywords. I got all of that, right? Without those MFA sites, I don't think my portfolio of affiliate sites and CPA sites would be doing anywhere near what they are today. Then I started posting about SEO, right? This is where things started really taking off because it allowed me to expand my network and it allowed me to meet new people and meet new services, tools, be exposed to different types of SEO, exposed to different types of operations, all sorts of stuff, right? It's when I started really getting involved and engaged with the community. That's when my information level went to the next level, right? So I already had learned tons from Todd, But Todd at the time wasn't, one of the most elite SEOs in the world. He probably is now, and he probably has the biggest PBN network in the world right now, right? But he wasn't at the time. And so I needed other people to learn from, and both of us needed other people to learn from, right? So we both went on a mission. Essentially, I was absorbing every Whiteboard Friday that Rand Fishkin put out, right? If you can imagine. I was absorbing every type of blog post, everything that were being put out. Viper Chill was my go-to site for reading blog posts. It was the heyday of SEO content information, right? In comparison to what was being published today, there's no near the level of quality that was being published 10 years ago in the industry, unfortunately. And that's why I feel like there's a necessary and a need for me to be posting the same level of quality as information that we had 5-10 years ago, right, in today's environment. So then I had my God of SEO blog blow up. So as a result of starting out on this, I ended up creating the God of SEO blog and blowing up. And we've hit 30 sales, so I appreciate everyone for hitting 30 sales. My God of SEO blog blew up. And as a result of that blog going to the moon, I started getting new connections, new information, new networking, all sorts of opportunities, right? I learned so much about SEO already that I actively put into the SEO industry that it allowed me to create all of these new networking positions and new opportunities and stuff for me that I don't think I would have had if I didn't do that again. So a lot of people are like, oh, why do you talk about SEO? Why do you post about SEO? That kind of stuff. And I feel that my opportunities would have been far more limited if I hadn't have joined in with the community. If I just stayed quiet and stayed in the shadows, I don't think my opportunities, I don't think my knowledge, any of that would have been to the level it is today, because people are so comfortable sharing things with me, right? Because I've been so comfortable sharing everything I've been doing for the last 15 years, everybody is so comfortable sharing stuff with me that it allows me to not even really have to do much and still be able to absorb a huge amount of information, right? I just have my ongoing tests, I have my ongoing network, and my ongoing community, and all three of them are just feeding me information about the current results and what is currently working with Google. Then I rebranded it to Charles Floate, right? So, and welcome to Dan as well to the chat. I rebranded it to Charles Floate, right? So I thought God of SEO was a bit pretentious. I'd actually stolen the name from a tweet where Rand Fishkin had taken the piss and said, oh, you really think you're the God of SEO, don't you? I thought that was a fantastic name and went with that. So I rebranded it to Charles Floate to try and be a bit more adult about the situation. And let me have a very British cup of tea. I thought it'd be a bit more adult about the whole situation and make it Charles Floate, right? And I think that was a great decision, to be honest, at the end of the day. It allows you to have a face on your brand, even though I tried to keep my face slightly hidden from a lot of people. It allows you to have a name recognition, all sorts of things, right? Whereas the previous brand was more of a persona, this is a person, right? And that gives you a lot more leeway and a lot more actionability, and a lot more people are wary about engaging with a person rather than a persona, if that makes sense, right? Online anonymity is one thing that gets people slightly different about how they approach talking to you. Then I sold 2 agencies, right? So it's not just at the same time. Over the course of about 3 or 4 years, I built an SEO agency that I absolutely hated, and then I ended up selling it and all of its clients and stuff to an agency based in London. And that was a 6-figure exit, bear in mind. So it's several $100,000 when I was about 21, I think, at the time. And then when I was 22, I ended up selling a link building agency to a Scottish agency, Mr. Gary Wilson, who then sold it on to a company that went public last year. So DFY Links, which is the second agency that I sold, is now currently publicly traded, right? So it's on the NASDAQ. So I'm pretty happy with my businesses from there. Number 7 has I've sold over a dozen different websites, right? So over my time, and a lot of people think that I would have sold less than that or I would have sold more than that. The reason mainly being is that I don't really sell my own projects, right? I've sold 3 or 4 of my own sites, mainly via Empire Flippers, who, big shout out to them. They've been fantastic and are really good friends of mine. I've sold a couple or maybe 2 or 3 websites through Empire Flippers personally, but most of the sites that I sell are JVs. So that means they're joint ventures. So they're partnerships with other people. And welcome to Yudi and welcome to Shibav as well. Hi from Thailand. I decided that I said that most of my assets I don't like letting go of, especially if they're cash cows and especially if they haven't been hit by algorithm updates or something like that. So it's only really when I need capital I sell my own projects, or when a JV partner wants to exit a position, or when I want to exit a position with a JV partner because I don't really want to work with them anymore, we'll look to sell that business. And I've sold, I want to say, between 9 and 10. I think it's about 10 sites in JV partnerships. So And bear in mind that sites this year, the multipliers on sites have slightly trended downwards. So they're actually worth less this year than they were last year. And I think that's mostly to do with AI, content, all of that, SGE, just an unwary market that's not 100% sure. You know, it's volatile. There's not 100% confidence in where the market is going in the next year or so, which means that the multipliers from investor standpoint obviously goes down. So yes, you get more money for selling your site a couple of years ago, but I think that it depends on the current site that you have, right? So if you're doing SaaS businesses, they're still selling for stupid multipliers, 50x plus multipliers. If you're still doing anything in e-commerce, that does really well. If you're doing Amazon FBA, they sell for really well, really high multipliers. And bear in mind that just because I'm talking about SEO and that the majority of SEO is Google SEO, that doesn't mean that you don't do Amazon SEO, right? To power an Amazon FBA business, which has a higher multiplier than a niche website these days. And finally, here we are today, right? We are here on the live call today, and we have hit 30 sales, by the way. Oh no, sorry, we've hit 40 sales, by the way. And I'm really happy so far with all the traffic so far to the site, and everyone seems to be happy and dropping reviews already. So we are here today. This is the epitome of everything and how we have brought it all together. And I'm really excited to announce what we have in store for you, which isn't just an ebook launch. It is my entire brand new training platform website, right? This is a custom Shopify build that has taken months and months and months, including a developer disappearing on us, which happens all the time, unfortunately, in projects where you have VAs and developers just tail up and disappear. However, it's not just an ebook, right? This site is going to have all of my courses, all of my audits, all of my consultation services, all of my services from my team, all of my link building services, as well as all of my freebies. And we have got some serious plans for the freebie section on this site, right? Currently, there's about 8 blog posts, or maybe I think there's 8 or 6 blog posts on the freebie section. Sorry, ebooks on the freebie section. But soon there is going to be checklists. There's going to be templates. There's going to be downloadables. All sorts of stuff for free is going to be available on that website. So make sure you check that freebies tab back very shortly. However, what I've done since then is I've integrated my link building agencies into the link services, so you can go and directly buy links off of us without having to apply. Yes, if you do apply and get approved, you will get them at cheaper prices than if you just buy on the website itself. However, that gives us a bit of leeway to be able to make sure that we're not working with niches that are harder, not working with customers that are harder, all that kind of stuff, right? So you're paying the premium for not being approved and buying the links. Next up, the services. So Soham Banker has been my VA, was my original VA, right? 11 years ago, 2000, and actually longer than that, 12 years ago, in 2011, I had Mr. Soham Banker as my first ever VA hire. To this day, he is now running AdSense websites, affiliate websites, all sorts of stuff that I'm banking him over $10,000 a month as a guy in India whose English is near perfect, but not quite perfect, right? So I've enlisted his services because he's been a part of my team for the last, like I said, 12 years. I've enlisted his services to make sure that you guys can have access to all this stuff that we use in our own internal services department. So that means topical mapping, that means keyword research services, and that means more services hopefully coming on further down the line once we have the ability to scale the operational side of them as well. But alas, let's talk about the ebook itself, right? Let's talk about what's actually going to be inside this bad boy. We've gone through the launch, we've gone through everything. Let's talk about what we're all here for. So, number one, SEO is actually more powerful right now, in my opinion at least, than it has ever been in the past. And that's because, A, Google's algorithm, as of the September helpful content update, as of the August helpful content update, as of the last several updates, has been very easily manipulated with Parasite SEO, as well as several other factors for using Google SEO. Then we have the fact that search engines are currently experiencing all-time high records, and that will only seemingly increase, right? As things like TikTok search explode, Amazon search, YouTube, Etsy, eBay, all of these platforms that have giant search engines inside them that are getting millions, if not tens of millions of searches per day. TikTok, I think, is now up to billions of searches per day already. Those kinds of platforms have got algorithms that are significantly weaker than Google. And they've got trending upward users databases that are searching more and more and more and more, which means that you are going to be able to have access to different markets, different platforms, and different niches than you've ever had before, because you're going to be able to manipulate these search engines easier than Google, and you're going to be able to create content for them easier than Google, right? No more, if you're going to rank a TikTok video, you need to make a 30-second video, right? That is generally significantly easier than creating the entire 5,000 word mega post, all of the supporting piece of content, your keyword mapping, your topical mapping, all of that kind of stuff, right? Just for Google SEO is getting to the point where it's so much work that you almost need a team to be able to carry all of it out. And that means that all of these other platforms where you yourself can spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes creating and ranking a piece of content, that is just an absolute game changer. And too many SEOs are still too focused on Google and aren't focused on ranking on other search engines where it's much, much easier to make money and generate traffic. Next up, I want to make sure that this ebook is simplifying the future. So currently there is too much skepticism, there is too much worry, there is too much all sorts of things going on about AI. AI and text transformers, which is the underlying technology that all of this AI is built upon, are not that complicated, right? Yes, the training data sets, the billions of parameters, the tens of billions of parameters, all of that kind of stuff, hyper complicated, all the settings, hyper complicated. But the actual systemization of how it works, of how it predicts the next word in the sentence is not that difficult to understand and conceptualize, and then thus use for your own benefit, right? So I'm in this ebook, my aim is to simplify what is going to be happening in the future, simplify what tools you're going to be using, simplify the processes you're going to be using, and simplify everything else that you're going to be featuring inside of your business or your offer. Because currently everyone's getting way too over technical, and we just need to calm down and go back to the basics. Then I'm going to be honing the skills of your own personality type, your own preferences, and your own abilities, right? A lot of people just start applying for SEO jobs. They start trying to create projects, all this kind of stuff, without basing it on your own personal skill set and your own personal skill stack, right? If you're a developer, it's going to be a lot easier to start building your own SaaS and ranking it than it is going to be creating a massive long-form content blog site, right? Where you've got to write 10,000 words. It's easier for developers to write 10,000 lines of code than it is for them to write 10,000 words of actionable copywriting, persuasive-based content, right? So I'm going to be teaching you how to hone whatever it is you're best at into whatever route is best for you earning money with that in SEO. Then I'm going to be talking about gamifying Google. So as I already said, Parasite SEO is super easy right now, and I'm going to be showing you how to utilize that to the max with another one of the millionaires. AI and SGE, I just want to give you my thoughts on SGE and AI coming into 2024 and what we will see in the future and what it will affect from current businesses in the search results. Then I'm going to be teaching you how to rank for 11 other search engines. So you aren't just going to be learning how to rank for Google, what Google AI and SGE is going to mean. You're going to be learning the highlights of how to rank and how other search engines on other platforms actually rank their positions and their assets in the SERPs. Then I'm going to be teaching you about SEO processes, operations, and scaling. This is once you've started your business and once you've started making money consistently from your business, this is going to be the most important thing for your success in the future, right? Making sure that your process is as efficient as possible, making sure that your operations are intact and as coordinated as possible, and then making sure that your scaling is as cost effective as possible are going to be the three priorities that you're going to be using to take that business from 10K a month to 100K or $1 million a month in revenue, right? Then I'm going to be talking about niche agencies and niche websites, which are both of the two best models in terms of SEO, specifically for people who have certain types of personalities or for people who are wanting to try and get away from another business or another lifestyle that they're currently in. Then I'm going to be talking about selling as an SEO nerd, which comes really, really hard to a lot of people. I know it's pretty difficult for a lot of people to get on sales calls, for a lot of people to do cold emails, for a lot of people to do all this stuff because we don't organically or naturally have all of this SEO, all of this SEO knowledge that can be easily conceptualized for someone who doesn't have that SEO knowledge. Which means if you go in there talking about, I'm going to rank your stuff with PBNs and I'm going to do these Web 2.0s and I'm going to build this links and canonical tags, blah, 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 they're not going to listen to a fucking word you said and not going to understand anything you said, and you're probably going to lose that sale, right? So I'm going to teach you, along with another one of the millionaires who is an absolute god at selling, at how to sell high ticket SEO services as well as low ticket SEO services if you're just beginning out at a exponential rate, and how to grow up and improve at your sales process even more. Then I'm going to be talking about leveraging multipliers. So as I already said a little bit earlier, multipliers have been trending downwards recently, but that you can still leverage the high payout of them. So for example, most sites right now I think are selling an average about 33.3x, which is still a high net monthly profit, and you can still leverage them on sites. However, what you can do is you can leverage them on other assets. So a lot of people that I've been speaking to recently have been going into certain niches, you know, SaaS, like I said, the niches earlier that were still performing well at multipliers, looking for businesses to buy, acquiring those businesses for cheaper than they actually would be sold on a platform like Empire, you know, a 20x multiplier, 30x multiplier for a SaaS business, buying them for those amounts, upgrading the CRO, the infrastructure, reducing costs, making the SEO traffic increase, running ads more efficiently, all of those kind of things. And suddenly, not only is that business worth considerably more, but it's worth considerably more than what you paid for it. So a lot of people recently especially have been leveraging the fact that because of the economic downturns and property taxes and all sorts of things going on, a lot of people are needing to sell assets, and you can go and pick up those assets for a lot lower multiplier than what they're actually worth, and then use your skill sets to improve all those things and sell them for the multiplier that they're actually at, right? And you can leverage that repeatedly to make some serious profit if you have capital and skills. Then I'm going to be talking with Mr. James Dooley about if you can become a billionaire with SEO. And there is a hint to this. Yes, you can. And there are multiple people that are currently on a trajectory to do so, and one person who already has. And finally, I'm going to be doing your quote-unquote search for riches, which is, excuse the pun, don't excuse the pun, I love that pun. It's going to be a conclusion about what you should be focusing on depending on your... what you should be focusing on depending on your own skill set in your search for riches. So, continue just seeing the slides because I am clumsy. Let's go next. And we've hit 50 sales. Thank you guys for the purchasing, and thank you for visiting the website. I really appreciate it. So, who is featured in this ebook? This is actually in order. So this goes in order of appearance in the ebook. So number one, we have Chris Pantelli, who a couple of years ago was running retail investments in the UK. So he had his own fish and chip shop in the UK, as well as some other retail properties in the UK that he was doing investments from. He hated that, right? And he decided that he was going to hone his online skills with a small blog that he'd made that was making about $1,000 a month. And he was going to see how far he could push that blog. But funnily enough, that blog wasn't actually the success story for him. It was something else as a result of honing those skills that led him to make a business that is currently generating over $100,000 per month in the SEO space. Next, we have James Norquay. He is one of the SEO veterans in the industry. I remember speaking to James all the way back in like 2009 or something about SEO. I'm pretty sure he's been in this game since 2005 or 2004, and he is currently operating Australia's largest SEO and digital marketing agency. I think he's a team of about 35 or 28 or something around that figure. Next up we have Jackie Chow. He has popped onto the scene recently. He owns the brand Indexy, as well as several other e-commerce brands, services, and companies. He also does a weekly podcast, I think, with James DeLacy. Then we have Miles Beckler, who you will recognize probably from YouTube if you're currently watching this on YouTube right now. Miles is the YouTube SEO GOAT, right? He has not only made several channels himself that have done millions of dollars in revenue, but he has also helped his wife's business via SEO turn into something that's probably worth 10 or 20 million dollars right now, right? So he's utilized SEO to turn his wife's business into a powerhouse of earnings. And I think his wife's business is actually doing, several times more earnings per year than all of his own ventures combined, right? So that just shows a proof if you have these skills and abilities, that if you can go into other markets where those people don't have those skills and abilities, you can absolutely cream it, right? Then we have Joe Davies, who should be a really recognizable face, who is one of the co-founders of Fat Joe, who are an absolutely mega agency in the UK. They do between 5 and 10 million pounds of revenue per year selling SEO services, and he'll be talking about how he scaled his agency, and he originally started as a niche agency and why you should do the same. His contribution is absolutely awesome. Then we have Mads Singers. Mads is the former head of coaching at IBM. He is also a management consultant, and he also owns an office of VAs in the Philippines with, I think, around 100 different VAs working on his own and his clients' projects. He does tons of black hat ads projects and all sorts of stuff that's really interesting that most people don't even know that Mads actually does. And then we have Stephen Canner, who is the head of sales and the head of link building for WhitePress. WhitePress only started, I want to say, 19 months ago, and they're currently on track to do $1 million a month in sales, all powered basically by Stephen's work, right? So Stephen isn't even an SEO by trade. He actually has been the manager in the Michelin-star restaurant industry for about 10 or 20 years prior to this, and kind of brought his managerial and sales experience over from that industry into this one. And I think that's what is going to be a really big benefit for a lot of people, because Stephen is a born salesman, right? And a lot of people in SEO, or the majority of people in SEO, 99% of people in SEO, aren't born salesmen. And that's where Stephen's contribution is going to come in really clutch for a lot of you who are going to be really struggling to get your first few conversions when it comes to selling services or selling as an agency or freelancer. And finally, we have Mr. James Dooley, who again should be a super recognizable face to everybody in here. He is an SEO, he is an investor, he owns part of a construction company, he owns a thoroughbred horse racing breeding company, he owns so many different assets, it is absolutely ridiculous. This man is going to be worth £100 million by the end of next year. So as you can see, we have got a stacked roster of people who are going to be contributing some awesome things to this ebook, and you will be able to get all of their insights inside via the link in the description down below. So how much is this going to cost you? How much are they going to charge you to break the bank and absolutely take you on a ride for how much this is going to cost, right? Well, I can let you know that today the price of this ebook is, drumroll please, $7 US. Yep, $7, right? I could have charged $7, I could have charged $700, I could have charged $7,000 for an ebook with this much information inside and this level of contributions from the millionaires, right? We went into really big detail with every single one to make sure that their contribution was as amazingly accurate to what we were trying to get from their journey and from their failures and successes as possible. But as I said, I could have done this for a stupidly high price, but because I'm launching this alongside my new website, because I want to make sure that everybody has got access to this product, and because I want to make sure that not only that everybody who is in SEO has access to this product, but anybody who is outside of SEO and who is interested in learning about it and entering the market can access it as well. So I appreciate everybody who's been with me on this live stream, and I appreciate everybody who has followed through for the entire time. I know it's quite a lot. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's been with you. I know there's about a dozen of you or so. I appreciate it all. It is very, very early for a lot of you here. We have just hit 75 sales. I will see you in the next one. You can download the book today at seobusinessbook.com, or you can click the link in the description down below. I've been Charles Floate. I will see you in the next couple of weeks because I have got so much content packed ready to launch as a result of this new website and new ebook that there is going to be tons of stuff coming on the channel. I will see you, and I appreciate you joining at 2 a.m. your time, Darren. I will see you guys all in